Very pleased to say that joining us now is Reform MP Robert Jenrick. Very good morning to you, Mr Jenrick.
Good morning, good to be here.
Are you trustworthy, Mr Jenrick?
Look, I heard that argument from Kemi Badenoch. She's obviously lashing out, as obviously she didn't like me very much. But the really important issue here is that, to me, we've got to fix the country. I think Britain is broken right now. Kemi disagrees. She thinks everything's all right and is going down the right track, and we just have to muddle along. But I think the country's in a mess, and that is what most of your viewers, I suspect, will be feeling this morning. Their wages aren't going up, immigration's out of control, public services don't seem to be working. You've got to have some real change in the country, and that is why I chose to break with the Conservative Party, which pained me because I've been a member of it for a very long time. But that's the reason I chose to join Reform, because the Conservative Party hasn't learnt its lessons. It's still got exactly the same people at the top of it who made all those mistakes in the first place. And it's not the party that we can believe in to actually fix the country and get it onto the right track.
Well, the reason I ask if you're trustworthy is because many would say you were part of the mistakes that were made, that you have since secretly plotted to defect to Reform UK before being caught out. You then attacked your former colleagues, and we know, on top of all of that, that you have leadership ambitions. So are you trustworthy? Can Reform UK trust you?
Look, I think I've been the most honest, really, of anybody in recent years. I was the Conservative MP who resigned from Rishi Sunak's cabinet because all the people around the cabinet table were willing to go along with an immigration policy that was a total disgrace, that was going to allow the small boats to continue for years and years and years. They were lying to the British public, saying that Rwanda was going to work when they knew in their hearts that it wasn't. After the last general election, I was the one who said that the Conservative Party failed in government on immigration, the economy, on public services, and went out to make the case that the party had to change fundamentally if it was ever going to even try to win back the trust of the public. I'm afraid I very slowly, over a period of time, came to the conclusion that I was naive, that the party was not going to change, that it was not capable of changing. And the worst thing of all, which is about honesty, was that the people at the top of the party were not willing to even appreciate, to concede that they were the ones who'd made the mistakes. And if you can't fess up to what you've done, then you are not going to be the people who can turn the country around and fix Britain. So that's why I chose to make this very difficult decision. And as regards Reform, I'm delighted I've done this. I'm part of a very exciting team now that wants to fix Britain under Nigel Farage, who's a strong leader. And in tough times, you need to have somebody with real conviction running the party and the country, and someone who's been consistently right on the big issues, none more so than on immigration.
There's nothing more important than keeping your money and your identity safe online. And with so many VPN options available, choosing the right one can be pretty daunting. But this video's sponsor, ExpressVPN, is making the choice easier for GBNews viewers. ExpressVPN is offering up to 73% off, plus 4 extra months free. That's top-level security from just £2.49 a month, and you're covered by their 30-day money-back guarantee. So just click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code now. Remember, when you're online, you are often sharing personal data, so hackers can steal your information, your passwords, your photos, and your bank details in just seconds. But ExpressVPN encrypts your connection, making it virtually impossible for hackers to access your personal information. So why choose ExpressVPN? Well, it couldn't be easier to use. With just one click, you are protected. And ExpressVPN uses military-grade AES 256 encryption, which is the same standard trusted by the US government to guard their classified information. With their new tiered plans, you can protect up to 14 devices at once and manage passwords securely. Live chat support is available 24/7, and it typically connects you in under a minute with a real person. Click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code to get up to 73% off ExpressVPN plus 4 extra months free. Start protecting yourself today with ExpressVPN.
Robert, I mean, of course, you're right to say that you resigned, but eventually you were the immigration minister. You were the immigration minister when record numbers were coming over the channel, when the scheme that should have been a temporary housing of migrants in hotels became the permanent, it seems, position adopted by the previous government. You know, you do not have an unblemished record here.
No, that's actually not right, Eamon. Look, I walked into the Home Office, it was a total bin fire. Suella and I were absolutely disgusted by what we found there. The record of the people who came before us, I mean, my goodness, absolutely terrible. We worked like crazy over the year that we were in that department. Small boats, down by a third. No other ministers before or since managed to do that. We started to close those wretched hotels, 100 of them we closed, the only people who managed to do that. And on the legal migration, I literally sat in Rishi Sunak's office in Downing Street and said to the man, I will resign unless you bring into force the measures that are needed to get legal migration right down. And he reluctantly did that. And it's because of that that we're now seeing the changes come through. The way the stats work is that you make the changes and then you start to see the benefits in the years that follow. And so the changes that I put in are now starting to work, and that's having a massive impact. Was it enough? No, absolutely not. I'm the first to say that. That's why, unlike others, I resigned from the cabinet, went onto the back benches and started fighting and even voting against the Conservative government. There was only 11 of us, 11 souls who bothered to vote against the Rwanda policy because we knew it wasn't tough enough. Myself, Suella, we were part of it. There's only 2 sitting Conservative MPs of those 11. So I'm afraid all the others in the Tory party, they sat on their hands. They were willing to see that happen. It was terrible. That's why nobody should trust the Conservative Party now to be the ones who will actually fix the country.
It's Mark here, by the way. I'm just filling in for Eamon today, but thank you for complimenting my Northern Irish accent. I've been mastering it quite well. Can I ask you, obviously we got the news last night about Andrew Rossen.
You've got a very nice soft accent as well.
You know, you can come back any time. As far as the defection of Andrew Rossendale last night is concerned, of course, the latest Conservative MP to cross now to the Reform benches, presumably, despite maybe some of the unkind things you said to your former colleagues, you've been in conversation with them. Are we expecting more to come across to the Reform benches in the days and weeks ahead?
Well, firstly, absolutely delighted that Andrew has chosen to do this. You know, your viewers may know him, great constituency MP, very true patriot, superb addition to the Reform team. Look, if there are other Conservative MPs who share the values and the principles of Reform, who want to turn the country around, fix it, then I'm sure Nigel would welcome into the party. But he has said, and he's absolutely right to do so, that this is going to have to happen quickly. After the May elections, then the door closes and Reform moves on. It can't be that people just make up their mind or Johnny-come-latelys to this. So it's make your mind up time now for people who share the values and the principles of Reform. And I suspect more will choose to follow in Andrew's path.
What would your advice be to Keir Starmer, who's addressing the nation at 9:30 today over the Greenland issue? We've seen a post from President Trump this morning on Truth Social saying that Denmark has failed to get the Russian threat away from Greenland for the last 20 years. He says the US is going to do something about it and it will be done. He's doubling down on this. He's playing hardball. How should the Prime Minister respond to this?
Well, he needs to get behind the table with Donald Trump, and he needs to have a proper diplomatic conversation with him and try to resolve this. What Trump has done is completely wrong. It's totally unacceptable to use bully boy tactics and threats of tariffs to deal with this situation when you're working with allies of the United States like ourselves and Greenland. But does Donald Trump have an important point? Yes, absolutely. Look, Greenland, the Arctic, what's known as the High North, is a very strategically important place. And in the years ahead, we can't allow our adversaries like Russia and China to gain a foothold in that area. It's going to be one of the most strategically important parts of the globe for the rest of our lifetimes. That can be resolved, however, diplomatically. If the US wants to put more forces or equipment in Greenland, then I'm sure that's possible. In fact, there are existing arrangements that allow them to do that. In the Cold War, they had 15,000 troops in Greenland. This needs to be resolved diplomatically by allies, by getting around the table. And that's what I want to see Keir Starmer do in the days ahead.
I'm going to test you now, Robert, for the role as Foreign Secretary, or at least that brief, or maybe even the leadership. If you were to speak to Donald Trump, maybe if you spoke to him overnight, what would be the sort of emollient words that you might be able to offer that sort of talk him down a bit and back from the brink?
Well, it's the message that I've just said, that we completely understand the point that Donald Trump is making, in that this is a part of the globe that has been underappreciated for a long time for its security purpose. Obviously, Denmark is a small country. It's not the best placed to ensure that Greenland is protected from Chinese and Russian influence in the years ahead. But this situation can be resolved diplomatically by allies, by NATO, by ensuring that the United States can have the military presence that it wants in that part of the world, and the UK can play its role as well. We're not so far away ourselves from the Arctic and have a role to play in the years ahead in defending it on behalf of the West. But let's do that diplomatically as friends and allies. Let's not get into these pointless and economically destructive debates like tariff wars.
OK, Mr. Jenrick, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Just before you go, Robert, what should we refer to you as from now on? Are you the Treasury spokesman for reform, foreign affairs?
Leader in waiting?
I'm the 180,000th member of Reform.
OK. It's not quite as snappy, but we get you. OK, thank you, Robert.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.